Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
WorldCBSNews.com.
March 17, 5:23 America, New York. Cargo ship sinks in Persian Gulf off Iran with 30 on board. Rescue efforts were underway in the vital waterway. The Emirati-flagged ship was carrying cars and other cargo to Iraq, an official with a cargo company said.
Washington Post World.
March 17, 5 o'clock America, New York. Why the Kremlin is still active on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. There are still several Kremlin accounts active on Twitter. How come?
Washington Post World.
March 17, 5 o'clock America, New York. My life is now filled with guilt. Desperate Ukrainians search for missing relatives in Mariupol. With power and phones down, relatives are desperate for news of loved ones in battered southern city.
New York Times World News. March 17, 5 o'clock America, New York. Who killed 3 aid workers for Doctors Without Borders in Ethiopia? 3 employees of Doctors Without Borders set out to rescue the wounded in a war zone in northern Ethiopia. Their fate shows the treacherous path for many aid workers in conflict zones. New York Times World News.
March 17, 5 o'clock America, New York, where the war in Ukraine seems justified. In countries friendly toward Russia, people are troubled by the war and loss of life, but some say they think that Putin has a point. A woman reads a Vietnamese newspaper featuring front-page coverage of the Russian invasion of Ukraine at her stall in Hanoi last month. Mirror World News.
March 17, 4:54 America, New York. Desperate Ukrainians scrawl, children, outside theater before Russians bomb it. The large letters spelling out the Russian script warning came before forces went on to drop a powerful bomb on the theater that was being used as a shelter for families in Mariupol, Ukraine.
Fox World News.
March 17, 4:54 America, New York. Ukraine mayor, 9 Russian conscripts released. Russian forces freed the mayor of the Ukrainian city of Mariupol in exchange for 9 of Russia's captured conscripts, an official from Ukraine's presidential office said Wednesday. Mirror World News.
March 17, 4:48 America, New York. Cargo ship sinks in Persian Gulf with massive rescue operation to find 30 crew. We'll be bringing you the very latest updates, pictures and video on this breaking news story.
BBC News World.
March 17, 4:48 America, New York. Cuba anti-government protesters jailed for up to 30 years. They were found guilty of sedition and theft after taking part in rare anti-government demonstrations.
Fox World News.
March 17, 4:11 America, New York. U.S. expels another Chinese phone carrier on security grounds. Washington has expelled another state-owned Chinese phone carrier from the U.S. market over national security concerns amid rising tensions with Beijing.
Washington Post World.
March 17, 4 o'clock America, New York. Calais, notorious for its refugee tent camps, hosts Ukrainians at a hostel by the beach. Few places more vividly illustrate the differential treatment refugees are receiving.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
March 17, 3:33 America, New York. Russia accuses West of acting in disgusting way as Putin reacts to Biden, war criminal, comment. The West has acted in a disgusting, criminal way towards Russia, the Deputy Secretary of the country's Security Council has said, as the Kremlin responded to Western reaction to the invasion. Russian President Vladimir Putin and AMP. Number 39. S invasion may not be going an AMP. Number 39. According to his plan and AMP. Number 39.
Time. March 17, 3:11 America, New York. This tropical island's economy is being crushed by the war in Ukraine. Russia's war in Ukraine, which has caused a humanitarian crisis and convulsed global financial markets, is now threatening to crush an $81 billion economy more than 4,000 miles away in the Indian Ocean.
Fox World News.
March 17, 2:57 America, New York. Russian forces bombed Mariupol theater despite signs warning children were sheltering inside. Ukraine. Ukrainian officials in the besieged city of Mariupol claimed that Russian forces bombed a theater in which thousands had taken refuge, even though satellite footage shows that the word for children in Russian was written on the ground near the theater.
Mirror World News.
March 17, 2:46 America, New York. Hero Ukrainian mom of 12 dies fighting Russian forces amid fierce front-line battle. Olga Semyonova, 48, died after being hit in the stomach during a battle in the Donetsk region of Ukraine, with her family saying she helped save others before her death on the front line.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
March 17. 1:20 American New York, Mariupol theater sheltering civilians and children bombed at dawn, death toll unknown. The death toll from the bombing of a theater where hundreds of people, including children, are said to have been sheltering is still unknown, Ukraine's president has said. Pic. Satellite image. Copyright, 2022 Maxar Technologies.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
March 17. 1:20 American New York, theater attack death toll, still unknown, as at least one killed in Kyiv dawn attack. The death toll from the bombing of a theater where hundreds of people are said to have been sheltering is still unknown, Ukraine's president has said. Mariupol theater aftermath Ukraine invasion.
BBC News World.
March 17, 057 America, New York. Scientists claim hairy black holes explain Hawking paradox. Researchers say they have solved one of science's biggest paradoxes, first identified by Professor Stephen Hawking.